Alright, today we're going to be learning how to create a simple UI. So first off, get your Roblox Studio opened up if you haven't already. And then we're going to just click on the base plate here. We're going to start a new project. And then you're going to get this empty world. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a UI that lets us either play the game or it exits out of the game. And in order to create a UI, there's two ways you can do it. You can go up here to where it says UI and then click on that and then click on the ScreenGui. And notice when I click on ScreenGui, over here, it's gonna generate the ScreenGui element in here under the starter GUI. So I'm gonna go ahead and click ScreenGui. And now you can see that we have ScreenGui here. And then I'm gonna create a frame. So this is basically the very bare bones of how to create a UI. You always need a ScreenGui and then you need a frame. And they should always be placed under the starter GUI when you're trying to create a menu like this. And if you don't remember, then you would just want to click ScreenGui here so that it populates it for you in the correct area. And now that we have a frame, we're gonna add, or before we do that, let's actually go adjust the frame. So the frame was created here at the top left corner, right? And what we want to do is we want to set the anchor point to the middle. Currently, the anchor point is set at 0, 0. You can see it right here. But we want it in the middle. 0, 0 is right here at the very top left corner. So what we can do is we're going to set it to 0.5 and 0.5. 0.5 going in the X direction and 0.5 going in the Y direction. So here's how it works. If I set it to 0.5, it's going to say, this is based on scale. So 0.5 means half of this whole frame. So it's going to go halfway. And then if I set the Y position to 0.5, it's going to go down 0.5. So now the anchor point is right here in the middle. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to set it to 0.5, 0.5. Now, as you can see, it got pushed up to the left a little. That's because now our anchor point is 0 or 0.5 and 0.5. It's right in the middle. And our position is at 0, 0 basically. So that's why it's up here. Now, if we want it to be in the middle of our screen, we have to set our position to, again, 0.5, 0.5. So we want it to be right in the middle. So that would mean 0.5 going this way and 0.5 going this way. Now you're going to see two different coordinates here. Basically, this first one is the scale on the X axis. Usually I don't really touch this second one because the second one is pixels. So here's what I mean. I'm going to set the Y or X to 0.5 on the scale. I'm going to press enter. Now you can see that it moved it all the way to the middle because I said 0.5 which is half of the screen. Now I'm going to show you how that second number works. The second number is pixels. So if I wanted to move it over like 100 pixels, I would say 100. And so it went 0.5 halfway through the screen, and then it pushed it over 100 pixels. But because I don't want that, I'm going to leave it at 0. Now we're going to do the same thing with the Y. We're gonna put 0.5 here so that it gets pushed down halfway, and we should be good there. Now for the size, same thing. As you can see, it already shows the size of 100 by 100. And you get it from here because it works the same way, where that first number on the X coordinate is the scale, while the second one is pixels. So right now it's not growing by any, on the scale, but it's growing on the number of pixels. So it's growing by 100 on the X-axis and 100 on the Y-axis. This is why you get 100 by 100 box. But I want it to fill half of the screen. So again, I'm going to set it to 0.5 and enter. And then I'm going to set the Y to 0.5. So now we get a box that fills up halfway, half of the screen on the X direction and half of the screen on the Y direction. Now that we have that, let's work on the background color of the frame. So if you go here onto the properties, you can see a background color and it's set to white. And if you want to change that, you can click on this color and you can select the color. So I'm going to set it to that blue right now. And we have our background color. Now, what if I wanted to round these corners? Well, I can use something called UICorner. So next to where it says the frame, I'm going to add a UICorner. And now, as you can see, it kind of rounded the corner a little for us. So if we wanted to round it a little more, again, that first number is the scale based on the number or the percentage of our object. So right now, if I wanted to round at 10% of this whole object, I'm going to say 0.1, and I'm going to set this to 0 because the second number is pixels. So now it rounded the corner for us. And we have our background on our frame. Now, how do we add letters? So I want something that says welcome here. So on our frame, we're going to click this add button and we're going to add a text label. It should be that first one there. And now we get a label generated. And now we're just going to edit the properties to our liking. So if we go over to our properties window and we scroll down to where it says text, if we can just find it. Oh wait, see, I was clicking on the frame, but I want to click on the text label. So now that text label is clicked, we can go down here and find where it says text, and we're gonna change that to welcome. And then we can also change the font of that. So we can go to where it says font face and select a new font. So I like using this luckiest guy. Kind of gives me a little, like gamey cartoon vibe. So we have that font, and then we're gonna change this text size. So if we go to text size, we can either set the number or we can use this thing where we can adjust it. So I'm gonna change it to like right there, like almost full frame. Oops. There we go. So around 39. And then we want to center this, right? So right now it is currently at 0, 0. And again, we want it to be at the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our anchor point again to 0.5 and 0.5 so that the anchor point becomes this middle area of the text label. So now that we have that, we're going to reposition it to where it goes halfway through our frame, which is 0.5. And then gonna click enter, and then we need to move it down. So we'll move it down, I want to say 0.2. So around there looks good. And now we want to get rid of this white background, right? So we're gonna go to background transparency, and then we're just gonna drag this all the way up so that we don't see the background anymore. And now we want to change the text color, right? So we're gonna go down to text color 3, and then we're gonna just click on this color, and we're gonna drag this up to white or whatever color you want. And then we're gonna click OK. So now we have a welcome title. Now we're basically going to do the same thing, except we're going to do that with a play button and a exit button, or we're going to use a text button. So on the frame, we're going to click here, and then we're going to click text button. And then we're going to click on this text button object, and we're going to go down, and we're going to change the name just so we can know what it is. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Let me add that again. We're going to find the name, and we're going to change it to just play button. And we're going to adjust our anchor position again to 0.5, 0.5. We're going to position it to the middle of our screen. So we put 0.5, it goes to the middle. But now we want it further down than that welcome. So our welcome was around like 0.2 on our Y. So we want to go like maybe 0.5. Let's try that. Well, that's a bit low. Let's try 0.4 on the Y. So that looks like a good spot. And next we're gonna change the text, just the text. So we're gonna go and we're gonna find text, and we're gonna change the text to say play. We're gonna hit enter so that it changes, and then we're gonna change the font as well. And this time I'll choose something like Fredoka 1, and then I'm gonna change the text size again. And now we have our play button. And what we can do is we can change the background color of this button so that it could be another color, something that stands out a little. So we're going to go to that background color and make sure that play button is the one you're selecting. We're going to click on the background color, and we're going to change it to something that stands out a little more. So I'm just dragging this around. I think we're going to go something with, yeah, let's go with like something purplish. I guess. No, let's actually make it let's make it like green. Green. And I personally don't like the black on green text, so I'm gonna change the text color. So if we go down to text color, we drag this thing up all the way up, it's gonna be white. So green is a little bright, so I guess we can change that background color to something more dark. Yeah. Okay, you can change it to whatever color you want. And then, similar to our frame, how we rounded it out, we can also round out our button. So if we select this plus sign next to our play button, we can add a UICorner. And now we have a UICorner under play button. So if we select the UICorner and we go and we do the same thing, we set it to 0.1, it should round out the corner for us. And if we go and do the same thing, so we're gonna add another button that says exit game, or just exit. We're gonna go over to frame again, and we're gonna create another text button, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna set the anchor point. Oops. We're gonna set the anchor point to 0.5. We're going to position it at 0.5, and then we're on the Y, we're gonna bring it down to, let's say, 0.6, because our other one was 0.4. So now we have button right under, this button right under the play button. And we can change our background color now. And we'll select something like, you know, we can choose red, kinda. And if we go down and we find text, we'll change the text to exit. And then hit enter so that it changes. Then we're going to change the font. So next to font face, we're going to change it to Freedoka 1 again to keep it consistent. And then we're going to change the text color to white so that it's the same as the play button. And that was right here on the text color 3. And now the last thing we need to do is change the text size. So we're going to bring it up to 39, just like our play button. So there you have it. Oh, and we need to add our UICorner, of course. So same thing as our play button, we're adding a UICorner, and we're going to change this to 0.1. So now we have a little corner that's rounded. You wanted to change it. If you wanted to make it more round, you would increase this number like I did to, let's see, 0.3. I think I like 0.3. So we'll go and we'll change the UICorner on the play button as well to 0.3. So yeah, we have buttons that are round now. And let's say that you wanted to, let's say you wanted a more dynamic background, right? You didn't want just a solid color like, you know, baby blue. You can go over to the frame and add something called a UIGradient. So now you have this UIGradient here. You can change it to another color. You can change it to whatever solid color, right? But you can also click on this 3 dots right here, which will let you choose a color sequence. So now that you have a arrow here and an arrow here, if you click on the arrow, you can now select the color for it. So if I wanted to change the color to something like bluish, right here, I'm going to select something blue right there, and then I'm going to just hit this X button. That'll be my starting color now. And as you can see, it can change over the span of this bar. So if I wanted to add another color in between, I can just click somewhere, anywhere I want, like right here in the middle. Now it adds another arrow. Now I can choose another color to add in. So if I click on this arrow here, and now it's highlighted yellow, I'm going to click on color, and now I can change it to another color that I want. So I'll change it to, like, you know, something more purpley right here. And then I'm going to hit exit. And then I want the end color to be different. So I'm going to click on this last arrow, and I'm going to change this color to something more red. So yeah, and then I'm going to exit out. So now we have 3 different colors that are basically gradient now. So it's going to go from this blue to this purple to this red. Now if we close that, we have our gradient here. So that's how you apply a more dynamic background. And now you have your menu UI. If we click play to test that, now you have this, right? You have your UI available. Now, if we click on these don't do anything, right? So we need to add a script to make it, you know, if we click play, this UI will go away. If we hit exit, we'll exit out the game. So I will show you that in the next section.